All right, all right, all right. How you doing, Mike the man? Mike the
I'm doing
man in the
better than I
building.
deserve.
Better than you deserve. Unlikely. Sounds like you're a hard worker. You've been out west chasing. I don't know what you've been
Chasing the
chasing.
dream.
Chasing the dream.
Chasing the dream.
Chasing the dream. Well, you're gonna be famous soon, so you got that going for you.
Infamous. Infamous is the word you're looking for.
Infamous. Are you gonna be
Infamous.
famous beyond a lifetime?
Podcast comes out in about a month. See what happens.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. See what happens. Make a splish splash in the bath. Get you some attention.
Give me some attention.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, you know. Been talking to a few friends of mine about this, even myself included. It's fucking weird, dude. Because I'm like naturally, I'm one of the worst self promoters ever.
You got to learn how to be. You got to learn how to do something. That's the cool part.
It's not about the doing something. It's about talking about yourself all the time. It just feels weird.
You
Yourself
don't have
as
to
a
talk about
brand,
yourself.
say, right?
To talk about success.
Talk about success. Well,
Don't have to talk about yourself.
Thomas Sowell being the wisest man that I've ever heard on the matters of people, says that there are no solutions. There are only trade-offs.
That's an interesting concept. I don't know if I agree with it. You come up you come up with the weirdest shit.
That is not mine. He is world renowned.
It's like fucking pull the weirdest shit out of
He is.
the
I said this on my ex account earlier the other day. I said Thomas Sowell's writings should be etched into vibranium so that people can read his writings for eternity.
Vibranium is a fictional material.
Fine, pick an emerald tablet. What the fuck you want, man?
Emerald tablet. The guys that think all the time hurt my brain.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do it.
There's a lot of good in it, you know.
99.9% of people will just tell you that they're too busy living their lives to do it. So
To think.
basically, too broke to pay attention, you know?
Jordan Peterson, to think.
Ooh, have you seen the latest with him?
Well, oh, he had. I saw Jubilee where they
Have you
had
seen
20
the,
atheists.
more importantly, have you seen the reaction to the Jubilee video?
No, I have not seen the reaction. I saw the Jubilee video, and I thought he did a good job. And
Did you? Because
yeah, I
I've
thought he did a
heard
good
quite
job.
the opposite from basically everybody else.
What did they say?
They trashed him. He's old. He's washed up. He's deranged. That kind of thing. He doesn't even know where. Like the kid said in the one thing, you don't even know where you are. This is a Christian versus a atheist debate.
Well, he didn't. He doesn't. He didn't. He didn't. He never said he was a Christian. He did
Yeah,
to great
this is
length.
the problem, though. You know, this is the
Why
big
is the
problem,
problem?
huh?
Why is that a problem?
Because he won't identify.
Well, what's the problem?
He won't identify, and it pisses a lot of people off. Think he's a fence sitter.
Awesome. He's the guy that pisses people off. My
He's
favorite person.
Well, he's a fence sitter, is what they're saying, which is a weak move.
He's a what?
Fence sitter in a lot of ways in this.
Well, what does a psychologist do? You got to think of his craft for 30 years.
This goes beyond that. He's been cornered, pinned down, and he still won't answer if he's Christian. He won't answer, I don't know, if he believes in God. I don't know. There's like these weird things he'll never answer. What does it matter if I'm Christian?
I understand what he's doing.
I don't think anybody knows
until
why,
Jubilee.
though.
I didn't understand why he did it.
He's just making the rounds, probably. He's just trying to talk to young people. I don't know. He's just putting himself out there.
Why would he? Well, he's making money, but why would he probably made 50 grand for that? So why would he not admit he's a Christian?
Because he's trying. My guess has always been that he's just trying to keep his Muslim world attached to him still.
No.
Because he's trying to keep those connections or whatever. Because he's done different events around the world where they're trying to like bring everybody together, different religions and things, you know. So I figure he's just trying to be the bridge, kind of. It's kind of.
I think I think I disagree with that. I think he 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 he's seen where people call themselves Christians and then get caught in adultery and get caught lying and cheating and stealing. So he holds it to high regard, and he doesn't want to say that he's a Christian. He wants to do it in his actions. So saying, actions speak louder than words. And by not admitting he's a Christian, he is a Christian. He believes in. He had an experience a while ago with his wife was going to die, like
Yep.
going to die dead, and the wife said, "Jesus said I'm going to be fine." They were basically atheists at the time. I just noticed today that his dad passed away, and his dad for most of his life was considered an atheist, considered himself an atheist
His dad died recently.
recently,
Oh, that's
and
sad.
yeah, it does. But him calling himself, not calling himself as a Christian, I could at one of the I want to think it was the guy from England.
So good.
One of his
Ah,
shows.
yeah. See, that's what comes to mind too.
He tried to hold him down to being the Christian, and I saw the tears in his eyes, and he's like, and he just didn't want to admit it. I know that feeling that that you get when you're a Christian. The world would hound him for it, and I
Why?
don't know why he's
They
not
already
okay with
know
it.
it. Why wouldn't he just admit it? It's so
And
stupid.
that's a good question. Everybody knows it, but he won't admit it. The only reason I think he won't admit it is because he believes in it so much that he doesn't want to consider because he's flawed, and he knows he's flawed.
Everybody's flawed.
But most Christians are flawed. All Christians are flawed. Let's put it that
Every
way.
human is flawed.
Hmm. Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what's
They all
funny
need
though?
God.
You know what's funny though? Is
What?
everybody claims to be a Christian, but you know what? There was only one Christian, and he died on the cross.
No,
Yep.
Christian means no. Chris, that's Christ.
Christian
There's only
means
one
you're a Christian, and you uphold all of the shit that he did.
Christ.
Nobody can. So there's only one.
Christ. One Christ. Christians mean
What?
little Christ.
Oh, it's
Christian,
like
little
offshoots. Like
Christ.
you're not the
Yes.
real deal, but you want to
You're not the
pretend to
real
be.
deal. You're not the
You
real Christian.
you want to pretend to be the real deal, but you're not. So you don't get to. Nah, there was only one, dude. And there will only ever
Christ.
be one.
There's one Christ.
There's one Christian. Only
There's one
one
Christ.
man can
Christian
follow
means little
that
Christ.
doctrine. Only one
Christian means
man
little
can
Christ.
follow that doctrine to the T, and he died for it. And I don't see anybody else willing to pay that price for it. So
See, his disciples. So
where
the
are they? I don't
disciples
see them. Where are they?
were inundated many times, basically with guns to their head, saying renounce Christ, and all of them said pull the trigger.
Yeah. Well.
Boiled in oil, ripped apart, nailed upside down with the cross.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it was just
They're committed to their belief.
crazy. And but and people say, oh, there are people that say it's made up. I'm like, nobody's going to make that up. Oh, the Chris, they.
Why?
Here's the problem with the theory that
I know.
it was all made up, and the 12 disciples were basically uh, gaining from being a Christ by knowing Christ, and that he wasn't true, but they would die for it anyways. I go, nobody would die for a lie. Nobody on the planet would die for a lie.
They would
Get
die
a
for
gun to your
the.
head and there's no Jesus Christ. All right, there's no Jesus Christ.
Well,
When it comes down to it, nobody's going to die for a lie.
they would die for what they believed, even if it was a lie.
They walked around with them, so it's a little different.
I
They
guess.
walked around with them for a little
I
bit.
can walk around with you, but if you die and I just start proclaiming that you're the fucking God, I don't. And if I believe it and I die for it,
If I died, if I told everybody that I'm the Christ, I died, and then I came back 3 days later.
supposedly.
Not supposedly.
Oh,
The
you were
death and
there, you were
resurrection
there,
of
were
the
you?
death of resurrection of Christ is probably the most proven fact in history.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Really?
Nah.
So how do
Lot
you
of
prove facts in
skepticism
history?
still, guy. I don't know what book you're reading.
I don't know what book you're reading, but out of
Not the
more,
dogmatic doctrine.
so when they prove a fact in history, pre 200 years ago video, right? How do you determine if it's fact?
Well, I do find that it's interesting. The stories get more fantastical as you go.
I don't disagree with that, but walking on water, bringing people back from the dead, dying and coming back yourself, that's
There's a lot
that's
of
hard to.
discrepancies with this stuff. You're throwing blanket crap on it all. Ah,
The most proven
details.
fact in history is like to you.
Most proven fact in history is that you need water to keep living.
The most proven fact in history, historical fact.
Rome
There's over
existed
four thousand
is
nine
more
hundred and
provable than this.
there's over 4,900 and something writings for the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and there's zero against. The second most proven fact in history, and one of these days I'm going to memorize the war, and it was a war in 600 or something like that. And there's 400 documents for and 6 against. That's the second most proven fact in history. In the death and
That
resurrection
is
of
a
Christ.
crazy way to verb that.
What do you mean?
The most proven fact in history?
Is the
Rome was
writings for the
Rome was
writings for and
real.
against?
Rome was real is far more provable than that.
Rome was real because yeah, exactly. You're talking about
That's a provable
building.
fact.
The
Much
emperors of
much
Rome.
more so than fantastical stories.
The emperor of Rome has to be proven with written history.
Written. Have you not seen these cop shows and been down this stuff? We've talked about this, I swear. But do you know how dog shit eyewitness testimony really is?
What
Do you?
cops typically do. I've taken a law class on this.
So you do know how dog shit it is, because I've found out in the past 5 years or so how
some
terrible it
people.
really is.
You're right. Some people are horrible
You
at
can
remembering what it.
misremember things. You can remember events that didn't even happen. It's the weirdest shit.
It is 100% true. That's why they have eyewitness testimonies. And one of the Gospels, Gospel of Luke, was he didn't travel with Jesus. He came afterwards and was told to write down everything about Jesus. And he went down and talked to all the people that knew him and talked to him and experienced him. And then he wrote the Gospel of Luke. Actually, in the beginning of the Gospel, it says, to my excellent Theophilus, the person that he's writing it to, and the reason he was sent out. Here's all the information that I got. And that's another gospel from people that experienced Jesus. So historically, it is the most proven fact in history. It really is crazy that people try and, some people say that Horus had 12 disciples and, try and relate it to Jesus and blah, 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 blah. They
Horace?
copied it. They try and make relatable past stories to make the real story unbelievable.
Well, let's see what we got here. Hold on.
Go for it.
It does seem to me suspicious, for example, that the Gospel of Mark, which is the earliest Gospel, contains no post-resurrection appearances. And then the Gospel of Matthew does include post-resurrection appearances. The Gospel of Luke includes even more. It's only in the Gospel of John that we get, for instance, Doubting Thomas, which is the latest Gospel, canonical Gospel, I should say. That's where that arises. And in fact, the story of Doubting Thomas, famously, he doesn't believe that it's the risen Christ. And Jesus says, come and touch my wounds. And he touches his wounds and he says, my Lord and my God. And Jesus says, you believe because you've seen. Blessed are those who believe without seeing. So in my view, what we have is this so-called mythological development of no post-resurrection appearances. And as the time goes on, as we get further away from the source, the stories get more fantastical, ending in a moral lesson to believe without evidence. Seeing. Yes. This to me does seem a little bit suspicious.
Oh, it seems suspicious to him. I get it. He's a skeptic. Makes sense.
Wow. You're supposed to be a skeptic.
Yeah. So, am I a believer?
I don't know. Are you asking me if you're a believer? I have no idea. I assume you are.
You know me, right?
I assume you are.
So am I a believer or knower?
I assume you're a believer.
Okay. What if I had a dream about him and met him?
Well, it's still a belief. It's a goddamn dream. I don't know what you're gonna do with that.
Do you have dreams?
Everybody has dreams.
Cool. Do you remember when you dreamed last night?
Nope.
Do you remember when you dreamed last Tuesday?
Nope.
Do Do you
I don't
remember
even
what you
remember
dreamed
last
on
Tuesday right now.
the 6th of May?
Nope, still same answer.
About 20 years ago, I had a dream about Jesus Christ. I can remember the whole dream.
Yeah, there's dreams that I remember, even from childhood, this and that. Even occasionally, wow, that's weird. Why the fuck did that? What does that mean? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, and he didn't say nothing too. He came to me in a dream and just put out this white cloth, and I'm looking around. I was in one of those tunics, one piece. I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" And I looked around, and he just looked over at me and waved. That's all he did. And then
Yeah.
I went, "Wow, that's crazy." Woke up, tears in my eyes. And then the next month, I started telling everybody about this crazy dream. I go, "He didn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing." And someone laughed at me. He goes, "He said a lot. It's in the Bible. Go read it." And then back then, it was cassettes in the car. And I got the New Testament in cassette,
Dedicated.
and I just started plugging them in. And I
Takes
was
a
like, "Oh, he didn't
dedicated
say a lot,
person to keep playing cassettes.
dude." And then going, turning, turning the fucking, oh, dude, right?
Trying to rewind them and shit.
Oh, and then when they fucking just start pouring out of it, you're like, oh, an hour and a half to get that thing back to her. And then how you get it wrapped back up and it's wrapped on itself. You're like, oh, in one way, there's another fold on it. And you got to go find it.
Yeah.
Because you'll go from Matthew to John, and by flipping the cassette. And it's just crazy.
A and B. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not fun. Not fun. Love
That's
digital.
fun.
I remember when digital came out. That was awesome.
Yeah. I had to manage my fucking digital library here recently. I'm still in the works of it, but it's such a pain in the ass. Ugh. I had ran out of like phone storage because I was trying to make something happen, and then I got to figure out the photos on my phone. Then I got to figure out the photos on the OneDrive and moving everything over to Google Photos, which is a whole different thing. And I got to make sure that I don't have duplicates, and I make sure that everything is transferred. Oh, what a fucking nightmare, dude! A week later, on and off, I'm fucking with it.
Feel ya.
Man, what a mess! What a mess! Speaking of a mess, how's your trip?
Trip was a fucking riot.
Yeah.
So I showed you a little sniglet of. If you want to play it, that's fine.
A sniglet.
A sniglet.
Well, you gotta
So
be
that was
careful with
just a
that
cap
word.
cut. And went out there. It was a professional production. I mean, he had a production studio. He had videographers. He had editors. He had a beautiful hostess.
Not like us.
No. And no. But it was amazing. You gonna play the video real quick or no?
I just have it on my phone. I don't have it on here.
It was just amazing how a professional production works. And then I got to. You ever hear of the Sphere?
The Sphere? No. Maybe out in Vegas, the dome, the inside dome with the whole. Oh yeah, dude. I always thought about it like that'd be the biggest, baddest planetarium show ever.
So we were on the way there, and my partner from Michigan came out to help me out, and we're talking, and we saw the Sphere, and I go, "Who's playing tonight?" And he looks on his phone. He goes, "Kenny Chesney." I go, "Is there tickets available?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Fucking book them."
Yeah.
Book them. And we got to after the podcast, we went out to the show, and it was just, dude, you can't imagine. It's when you look up on, say, I'd say 15 degrees, higher than 90. You're just looking up, and all you can see is screen. There's no other visual. If you look down, you see the stage. But if you looked up and you couldn't see the bottom, all you see is screen. And it really messes with your senses. It really messes with, like when a shark's coming at you and like you're backing up. It's not in 3D.
It gives you a 3D feel though?
It gives you the 3D feel because you don't have any,
because it's in your
when you watch a
peripherals
TV
too.
screen.
It's in your peripherals too.
Yeah, well, it's your whole deal.
But it's not just coming at you, but it's also like senses on the side as well, kind of thing.
Right. When you're watching a TV and you're watching action, you still have the perimeter of the TV and on the walls and everything else around you to have your brain understand that it's not real.
You're looking at a screen versus being in one.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Pretty much. It was crazy cool, but there was sharks and there was this, a voyage underwater, and then there's a dome underwater, and you go into it, and you're in your seat. It was really super cool. And a friend of mine worked at Facebook, and he knows about digital art infrastructure, and I understand the construction part of it. And we were both amazed at this place, and it was like I think at like $2.5 billion to make.
Yeah, it was super expensive, but I
$2.5 billion.
remember hearing about it and it opening, and I've heard people talk about it a little bit over the
And for
years.
$160, you had some tickets. We got some really good tickets, paid a little bit more for it, but it was just crazy. It was crazy.
That sounds cool.
I very rarely watched the star. The star was directly in front of us, and we just looked at the screen the whole time. It was the weirdest thing.
Well, he's
He
old now,
wanted to look
so
at
don't
the
worry
screen.
about it.
Huh?
He's old now, so don't worry about it.
He did a great show. He looked great. He did a great show. He had the energy of a young person. I mean, he's
Better.
killing it.
That's his crowd. He better.
Yeah. And then it was kind of cool. I was in the airplane on the way home, and there's Kenny Chesney all over. I was like, "You guys go to the show? You go to? Yeah, did you go to the show? Yeah, dude. I wasn't. We've been planning this for 6 months, And I'm like, oh, I was here at the time,
Stumbled
and I
upon it.
decided to do it.
That's cool.
One of my personal friends out here apparently named his dog Kenny.
How
Loves
fitting.
him that much.
How fitting.
How fitting.
How fitting. You been paying attention to the world at all?
No, I've been busy. I did. You know how many podcasts I did today?
Well, this makes 2 at least, I guess.
7.
7.
7.
You're a popular guy, see?
I am impotent. I mean,
important. You
That's
let it out there.
important.
I didn't say it. You said it.
I'm impotent. I mean, important.
She must be disappointed.
A little. Get it? A little.
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
Well, let's see. I heard Trump made a phone call to Putin, and then Putin started blowing everybody up after they had their phone call.
Blowing
Trump was saying like, "All right, he's gonna calm down. He's gonna calm down," and then Putin starts blowing everybody up again.
What do you mean blowing everybody up? Calling them?
No, like physically.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. So Putin's got Trump by the balls. Apparently, he just tells him, KGB type shit. He just tells you what the fuck you want to hear, and then he goes and does whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, that's Russia, baby.
Yeah, well, they're playing Trump for it. Trump's trying to give on this fucking show. I'll stop the war day one. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
He's not going to be able to do that. I don't know why he would say something like that. He's trying to put tariffs on him and all that stuff. That doesn't work on a country that's self-sufficient.
It works, but you got to remember that they feed Europe at the same time. Like Europe gets most of their gas, I believe, from Russia.
Food and gas from Ukraine.
Well, gas is a big deal. You'll die without the gas. You can find food, but
still, well, what are you gonna last? What are you gonna last longer with, food or gas?
Yeah, I don't know.
30 days without food.
You won't last a night without gas over there in the cold, man.
Yeah, the Siberian, but the southern part.
Well, they Poland,
summer.
all that stuff.
What are we in summer now? Or is it not summer over there?
No, it's some. No, you got me fucked up.
On the other side?
I think
it's not on the other side. It's on the same hemisphere, top part.
Right. It's the southern northern split, right?
Right.
That's
the summer winter.
Yeah, Argentine Christmas is hot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's fucking mindfuck.
Florida Christmas is hot.
Well, yeah. We're still on the north side, though.
That's true.
So
what else is going on in the world that I'm missing?
What else? I had some stuff written down, but it fucking went away as soon as I was about to text you because I had it in a draft to you just to kind of keep it fresh, and it went away. So.
What do you mean it went away? Did you lose it?
I don't fucking know. Fuck if I know. All right, here's one I was gonna give you because I've thought about this a bunch of times. So how does America train these badass Marines in defending the honor of the people, and then they come home and expect them not to use it?
What do you mean not to use what?
They don't want that level of taking care of business on a domestic front. Remember, who's that, Penny? That guy in the subway, remember? He choked that dude out because he was fucking with people or whatever, and he killed him.
No.
They tried to crucify this guy. It was Daniel Penny, I think it was.
And was he
Oh,
a
man.
Navy SEAL or something?
He was like an ex-Marine. But there was somebody in the subway who was fucking with people or something like that, and he ended up choking him out, and he ended up dying. But they tried to drag him through the fucking mud, man.
They're gonna try.
I just don't get it, though, because it's like, you train these motherfuckers to be badasses. You train them to do the right thing. You train them to defend the honor.
You
But
train them to
yeah,
defend people, and you put him in a subway where he's defending people.
well,
And
right. But
you
when
know,
these people come home from being
let me
trained
guess.
and
Let me
stuff,
guess. Was it in New York where the people are
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
crazy?
yeah.
Oh, well, here's my surprise face.
Yeah.
You're making it sound like that it's a crazy. That makes sense over there. Now, if it would have
Well,
happened in Florida,
if
in Polk County with
oh,
Sheriff Grady,
ooh, ooh,
fucking Grady would have given him an award.
Grady
Key to the
might give him
city.
an award and a beer.
Yeah, and the key to the city. Anytime you want to come back and you see anybody doing that shit, do it again. I
But
love
like, it
love
just
Grady
puzzles
telling
me.
his
It
I love
puzzles
Grady
me.
telling the residents, if someone comes into your house or your hurricane and they want to do harm to you, he goes, I want you to shoot them and shoot them a lot. What the? And I remember I think we mentioned this on the podcast. I lived in Port Richey, and the sheriff there was just excited as hell to talk about. We had a break in 2 o'clock last night, and these three guys jumped into this guy's house, and he wasn't hearing them because he had headphones on. As soon as he realized what was going on, he went into his bedroom and he got his gun, and he shot two of them dead, and the other one ran out of the house, and the neighbor got him,
I
and
think you're talking about the one over there on Jasmine. I think is the one you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was a couple years ago.
the
And then
fucking break-in. Two of them didn't make
yeah,
it out though.
nope. And then the other one got apprehended outside by the neighbor with the gun. And then the cops came over and arrested the guy that broke in. And then they charged him, the guy that broke in, with double homicide because he brought
Oh,
the other two people. I know, not the dude that shot him.
yeah, I think we talked about this
The other
before.
dude that brought him
Yeah.
into the house.
Good
And
local
he was
story. Good local story.
he was excited to tell this story. We charged him with double homicide and this and that. And a year later, I'll never forget this one too. Someone stuck a microphone in his face and they said, "Hey, listen, do you have any regrets for what you said about a year ago? The year anniversary of that guy died. Those two guys dying." He goes, "No, not at all." And he said, "But aren't you any regret?" He goes, "No. You know what? We haven't had any break-ins in a year."
It did pipe down there for a little bit.
Right?
It was getting out of control. I can't remember what the thing was, but there was a reason. Maybe it was like economy stuff or something. I don't know. But
No, economy's messing everybody up right now.
yeah, it's a sinking ship. What are you gonna do?
Stick your finger in the hole.
I said R.I.P. to Doge the other day.
You said what?
I said R.I.P. on my ex. I was like R.I.P. to Doge.
Rest in peace, Doge.
It's dead, man. They killed it.
Who killed it?
Killed it.
They found all the fraud, waste, and abuse.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'll show you in a second. I'll pull up this thing on my ex.
Your ex.
Yeah, I can't show everything on here, but
I know you can't. Crazy man.
I'll do what I can.
Do what I can. I'll show you this. I'll show you the uncensored stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll take a look at it here. But yeah, Doge is just basically the left doesn't want cuts, obviously, and the right won't vote on it, and they don't want cuts. So what the fuck are you gonna do?
They won't. What do you mean the right won't vote on the cuts?
I'll show you. Find it. No, the right doesn't want cuts, man. That's what everybody doesn't get. The right is dead, by the way. You want to talk about that? That's a good one. That was actually one of the ones I was going to talk about. The right is fucking dead.
Yeah, not even close.
Fucking dead.
They're not even getting. We're just getting warmed up.
Dead. It hasn't begun. Let me see if I can find this thing. The right is dead, dude. Why do you think the right isn't dead?
It's not. Well. Can
Tell me how
you
it's
say?
not.
DEI is gone.
DEI is not gone.
DEI is gone. It's against the law for you to put biological men and women in sports. You can say the word fag again. So I don't know what you're talking about. How is it dead?
Some of us never stop saying it, guy.
Well, political correctness? A year ago,
Yeah,
you wouldn't say half the stuff you say now.
some of us didn't get scooped up in all that shit.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's see if I can show this. Can you see this?
It's small.
Well, it's not impotent.
Thanks.
Is
There you go.
that a little bit better? Can you read that?
What does it say? No, I can't. Can you get any smaller?
She keeps telling you that, not me.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Let's see. Let's see. How do I zoom on this bitch? I don't know how to zoom. Anyway, is a guy on X who said these responses from Elon are horrifying. The GOP will forever be haunted by taking photos with Elon, saying they believed in Doge, praising its work, and then doing nothing to cut government waste, fraud, and abuse. Our elected leaders are fucking cowards. And a different message of his, I guess Elon responded to, said Doge is literally one of the most popular government initiatives in history. 73% of Americans say they support cutting government waste. Trump brought in the smartest man on earth to do it. The left destroyed Elon for it. The GOP won't vote on it. I can't believe this. And then he said, Elon, and he's saying, I did my best.
Ooh, that's not good.
I did my best is the guy who was heading up Doge. That's what his conclusion was.
If that's in fact the case, we are all screwed beyond.
That's my post there. So is society over? Good thing
Dude.
everybody's working on their career. Get the fuck out of here. If the whole goddamn shit goes under, who gives a fuck about people's careers?
Bingo.
People don't get it though. I fucking try to talk to people about this shit, and everybody always tells me the same shit. Just focus on your life. Just focus on your life. I'm like, dude, everybody, that's kind of what it is though. Everybody's too focused on living their life.
Ask them how much they owe in their life to taxes. Divide $36 trillion into 350 million Americans. What do you think that number is?
I have no idea.
Oh, let me help you with this. I have this debt clock.
Good.
No, not good. The debt clock.
It's hard to see, but I got you. This is
I'll
what
tell you.
Massey cares is around.
$36.9 trillion today and spinning.
Yeah, nobody wants
it's going to be
to stop
37 trillion by the end of next month. For every man, woman, and child in the United States, you got 3 kids, right? Your wife and you, so that's 4. It's $107,000 that we owe because we're the debtors to their spending. The American people have to pay the debt to what Senate spends. We have every taxpayer. You're a taxpayer. I don't know if your wife's a taxpayer, but I'm the taxpayer, and my wife files joint with me. Is $323,000 each one of us owe for the tax bill.
Well, good thing we're still giving $40 million to the Taliban every week.
No, we can't be doing that.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, you didn't know?
I knew. I saw all that. I saw the stuff. We can't be doing that.
It's been
I'm not saying
confirmed.
we're doing it.
It's been confirmed by Congress.
Huh?
It's been confirmed by Congress, guy.
I understand that, but they got to stop it.
Oh, we can't
They're
be.
the ones in charge of spending.
Like we shouldn't be. You said we can't, but we are.
My point is, it's still $36 trillion, 36 going on $37 trillion. How do you think this ends?
With us giving all of our money to the Taliban? I don't know.
No, our government defuncts, and they don't care because they're stealing from us blind. They're
Yeah,
stealing from us blind, and the
yeah,
worst part is we're allowing it.
that's the biggest part. But the same thing as always, weak men lead. So here we are.
I think evil men lead if we let them.
It's the same thing.
Nah, weak men just don't know what they're doing. An
Weak
evil
men
man
are
knows what he's
evil.
doing. Huh?
Weak men are evil.
Weak men are weak. Evil men are evil.
No. They say, it's a Jordan Peterson line. You like this one? He say, people are afraid of what a strong man can do. And you should be terrified about what a weak man can do.
Why?
Because
A
weak
weak
men
has no
are the
virtue.
one that put the knife in your back. That's the weak man.
Weak men have no virtue.
Weak man, yes. Now you're coming into it. No virtue is evil.
No virtue is evil. Correct. But are they
Okay,
stronger
so
than a
weak
strong
men are
man?
evil.
Right, but are they stronger than a strong man? It says in the good book,
No, they're weak.
a weak man can't come into a house and bind a strong man. You have to have a stronger man come into a house and bind a
No, but a
strong man.
weak man can lure the strong man with some certain thing and stab him in the back.
If he lets them, I'll give you that. If he lets
It's
them,
not a matter of force on force with a weak man. It's never that.
no.
It's
So
never
you're
that.
saying a weak evil man?
Weak. It's all weak. Weak men. You know how the cycle goes.
Yep.
Weak
Yep.
men lead. So here we are.
So what does that create?
Chaos.
It creates hard times.
Chaos.
Hard times. And the hard times create what?
Chaos.
Strong men. And what do strong men create?
Order.
Good times. You just don't want to admit anything to anybody ever. You don't have
I
a point, you
said
got
that's like the
counterpoint.
same thing you were saying. What do you mean? What do you mean?
You don't have a point, you have a counterpoint.
I am the point.
You are the counterpoint.
Fucking Kanye said this essentially on X a while ago. I fucking clapped back about it, but it was like, it's like nobody gets me. I'm a crazy person, this and that, whatever the fuck he said. I was like, this is just the most outlandish way to just say you're a fucking contrarian. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He
That's a good
claims
point.
he's this artistic god and everything. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Well,
You see
proof
his
is that
Hal
he's an
Hitler shit?
artistic god.
You see all that?
No, I didn't see that. Is he doing that shit now?
No, he made a song that he put out. Music video and everything.
Why are people so stupid?
He got
It blows my
banned from
mind.
like all the platforms for it. They put it out for like a day or two or whatever, and then they pulled it. YouTube, Spotify, they all pulled it. Which, because I wasn't exactly sure why he was doing whatever he's done, but at least his words on some level said, yeah, well, it proves my point then, don't it? Because he says the Jews are in control, right? That's kind of the push for a lot of people. And they, you
They're in
criticized
control.
him.
They're in
Oh,
control
you
of
triggered
Hollywood.
him. Oh, you triggered him. Oh, you're off the air. Like, oh, thanks for proving my point. Thank you.
They are in control of Hollywood. And
They
they're maybe entertainment.
control like everything.
Not everything.
Well, I mean, it seems that they start with the banks and then they just branch out from there.
They don't control everything. They can control Hollywood because they're deep rooted in it, and a lot of the Jewish names are at the end of every movie. Don't
Apparently,
get me
they
wrong.
rule the porn industry too, which is ironic.
Yeah, that is weird.
Like
Something about that is weird.
you push porn to the masses, yet you don't even allow it in your culture. What the fuck you think that looks like?
It's a way to make money.
Oh
But
yeah,
the kids can't watch it. The
it's
kids
a way
can't
to
watch it.
poison the rest of the world, is what it is apparently.
Porn. That's a unique concept. It's
Quite unique.
basically it's basically digital pictures, and you can make content once and make millions of dollars over years.
That's
It's
a digital
really a
product.
unique concept.
It's a digital product.
It's a digital product.
which is
But
taking over the
now,
world, by the way. Digital products.
yeah. But now they're having AI models that aren't even
Yeah.
real.
Well, people are going to start fucking robots soon, and then it's really going to get weird.
What happens? We've had this conversation with my wife a million times. What happens when they have the female? What do they call that in Austin Powers? Fembot.
Sex bot or something?
Yeah. What if they have the sex bot?
Society collapses? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they would. I'm not joking. Think about it. If any
I'm not
man
joking either.
had a robot that provided sex, what would happen to the? What would happen to the species?
It's probably gonna do the dishes too.
Clean the house and give blowjobs. I mean, dude, it's going to be the end of civilization. If every man can have it, there won't be a. I just saw something else.
This is kind of like the Matrix thing, right? Like I say, the thing with the Matrix is eventually we're gonna get to a point where artificial reality is preferred over reality. And then what? Then people are just going to say, just plug me in. I'd rather be in there than out here. Fuck it.
That's a true point.
Then what? Because it's already kind of getting there, right? You can go in VR and you can just be at the beach. You don't have to go to the beach or whatever the fuck. Let's go to the Taj Mahal. Come on, let's go to the living room. Come on. But what happens when alternate reality is preferred over reality? That is the Matrix.
Do we merge with the? Yeah, no.
That is the Matrix, though.
Do we merge with it? If we could, think about Neuralink.
Well, it's kind of like people are gonna merge with it, because if you don't, then you'd be left behind.
I don't know. I like this universe. I wouldn't mind being left out here.
You like it because you're used to it. But what about somebody growing up today? Like, my kids just talk to Alexa like it's fucking normal. Imagine that when you were growing up. Just ask a device what the weather's going to be like for the next week.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second.
I had a corded phone, buddy.
Yeah, it was attached to the wall. You ain't taking the wall with you. I'm going to blow my nose real quick. Did I ever tell you that good old Jimmy Carr joke?
Which one?
It's one of my favorite jokes by Jimmy Carr ever. If only we had more mosquito nets, we could save millions of mosquitoes in Africa from needlessly dying of AIDS. That's such a good one. It's sinking in. Yeah, I see it. It's sinking in. That's such a good one.
More mosquito nets.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carr. He laughs at his own jokes. And
he's one of the few real comedians left, guy.
Why do you say that? There's a lot of real comedians.
I'm so fed up with this whole bullshit on a lot of this. So I've been like there's one I even say there's a take for you. Make Dave Chappelle funny again.
Dave Chappelle is funny.
When?
Last three episodes.
Yeah. Dave Chappelle.
I just got a skit where he went and saw Kevin Hart, and his son loved Kevin Hart more than he loved him.
Yeah.
He was going, Dad, you gotta take me to Kevin Hart.
Well, I'm just tired of these people, man. These people ain't telling jokes no more.
What are they saying?
What are they doing? They're just being funny, telling stories. That is comedy now.
That is a joke.
No, it's just being funny. It's just like being a funny person while you tell a story. That is not a joke.
Anything they say is the joke.
Jimmy Carr tells jokes.
Okay.
You get it?
No.
Jimmy Carr can go up and deliver one-liners after one-liner. Hedberg told jokes.
Okay, what about Bert Crusher? Does he tell jokes or does he
No,
tell
no.
stories and jokes?
He's a funny guy while telling stories. Tells stories in a funny way.
He was talking about when he went to this Starbucks and there's this kid there that he kept trying to make laugh. And then the punchline was always something about you want cream in the coffee, room for cream. And then he would write a joke about it. And then one day he's like, I gotta write a joke, and so he came over there and the kid was like freaking out. He's like waiting to laugh, and then everybody stopped making coffee, and they're all just leaning into Bert Crusher, and he's like, "Hey, what would you like?" And he goes like a macchiato. He goes, "Room for cream." And then he goes, "No, I want my coffee. Like I want my coffee black." Or he goes, "I want my coffee like not. I want my coffee not to know its parents." Everybody in the thing just fell down laughing.
Yeah, that's
And
funny.
then this two white ladies in front of him, said, "I can't believe you just said that." And he goes to the guy in the counter and he goes, "Yeah, that's the problem with cream." And he turns around and walks away.
Ha.
But he wrote that joke.
So the
He put it
punchline
in his
was,
story.
"You're the
So he writes
cream."
jokes. And I'm sure
Oh,
the girl didn't say nothing. He didn't say,
I
that's the
don't think
problem with
that's a
cream.
joke. I think it's telling a story in a
Oh
funny
my
way.
God. He puts the jokes in his story, which is the key. He writes the jokes and puts them in the story. That's what makes it, that's
Ugh.
what engages people into it.
Ugh.
They're all jokes, dude. It's all jokes.
It's funny. It doesn't mean it's a joke.
If it makes you laugh, it's a joke.
Oh, see? The standard is that low. That's how low the standard is. We can't even call joke writers anymore. It's just, I don't know, just fill a bunch of words and make it funny. I don't know.
You're too much. There's
So on
enough.
this whole world collapsing thing, you want to go on that? So what percent of Americans do you think are homeless? Not physically, but spiritually. Is the ability to move so far away from your community you grew up in a superpower, or is it the beginning of the end? The end of legacy? Kids don't continue the traditions anymore, the family business, the community, the helping your neighbors. Yet so many claim to be Christians. Untethered people lose their why, but maybe more importantly, can become dangerous to regular people. Seems people today, more than ever, don't have a home or a community to go back to.
Hmm. Hmm. A home. A defined home.
Ah, I actually
Like an
did
apartment, a home?
recently. I actually did. I can try to find it real quick, but I basically said, is the home the place where your sacrifice is appreciated? Is that what a home is?
That's a good definition. It's a great start. Someone says home is where you hang your hat.
Some say it's where the
How
heart
low is
is,
the
but
definition?
some say it's where the heart is, but I imagine that your heart could be somewhere than you normally stay, other than where you
I'm
normally
sure there's a
stay.
lot of people. I was in Vegas. Home was in Vegas, right? My home's here. Your home's there. So
I
what
think
defines a home is a good question.
that's kind of where I went with it. I think I wrote that down this morning, actually. I was like, is a home just where your sacrifice is appreciated?
There's more to it than that.
Is it? Is there?
Yeah. What if nobody's there to
Okay,
appreciate
well,
it?
what if you're in that same position and nobody there appreciates your sacrifice? Is that still your home?
Right. Is it? So I don't know
I
if
don't
that's a
know. I
great
wouldn't feel
definition.
very welcome there.
Men go where they're appreciated.
Everybody goes where they're appreciated.
Nah, women go
Everybody's supposed to go where they're appreciated. That's another one, right? They say go where you're appreciated, not where you're tolerated.
right. Men go where they're appreciated.
Ah, self-respecting men.
True. My definition of a man. You want to you want to
It's
you want
not,
to you want to have a podcast. Here's a podcast. What is a real man?
That's this podcast, by the way.
Well, it would
It's
take
the
an entire
underlying
podcast.
theme to it all.
When John's on next week, we'll have a definition of what a real man is, because there's a lot of
Everybody has their own.
non-real men out there. Is the best way I can describe it.
Everybody has their own definition.
Yeah, but I'm sure so you have a definition, I have a definition, and but there's a definition that most people would go with. What is a real man?
I say a good.
Everybody knows what it is. It's just hard to define. I've talked to many girls, and I say, how many real men do you know? And they go, oh, like, how many real men do you know?
Is that a question to me?
Yeah, it's a question to you. It's not just women, it's everybody.
Probably like a handful.
How many?
Yeah.
Give me a number, round. Doesn't have to be exact.
5.
5. That's usually the number I come up with, 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Now, how many adult human males have you met?
Adult human males? Well, I kind of separate this a little differently, but the same thing. I just call them grown children.
Okay. How many of those have you met?
The rest? What do you mean?
How many?
The rest.
How many rest of the men have you met? Non-real men.
I don't know. I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. You could say 10,000 people in your life, and you know 4 or 5 real men.
Yeah.
So is a real man rare?
A real man is
the rarest creature on the planet.
The most attacked creature on the planet, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what's a real man? Like, people can attack me. I don't care. What are they going to do? What are they going to
attack you? They're going to attack you.
Physically attack me?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's a bad idea on their part.
Why? They got friends.
I got guns.
Yeah, well.
They attack you verbally. And now think about this.
You run out of ammo.
They attack you verbally. When are women aggressive?
When they don't get their way.
Okay, well, how do they show aggression?
Passive. It's all that passive aggressive bullshit. Social, verbal.
It's social.
Yeah.
They attack your reputation. So you ever see people?
They go out there and they start building their army against you.
Mm-hmm. And then they start attacking your reputation. I can't believe he said this, and he's that, and he's a misogynist. He's a misogynist. He's this. He's that. He's that. They attack you verbally because they can't attack you physically.
Right.
Right. So they attack your personality. They attack your platforms. They attack you.
I tell that to my wife sometimes. Like, if you couldn't talk, you wouldn't have no power.
That is true.
It's pretty fucking spot on, though.
Yeah. It is pretty true, though. But that's how weak people attack.
Like a cloak and dagger bullshit.
So I'm not really. And here's the problem with them.
That is the same way weak men do.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what the problem is with me? I sincerely don't care. You can attack me all you want, and I just don't. You're verbally attacking me. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
And there's a Socrates line on this. It says, the slanderers don't hurt me because they don't hit me.
They don't hit me. There was this Rick and Morty. I never even saw the show, but this one guy said, Morty said, I don't care about your boos to me because I've seen what you cheer.
That's a good one.
Your boos don't mean anything to me because I've seen what you cheer. I
could say Kobe. Kobe had a good one on this.
What?
He said, boos don't block dunks.
Anybody significant has had nothing but. So this one person said, you remember that guy you don't like, what's his name, Bearshire? He's a channeler for another alien from another world.
Who?
Bearshire. I'm going to mess that up.
I don't know who the
Bearshire. So anyways, this guy channels another another entity from another planet.
Okay.
And you say, "Can I ask you guys a question?" Because everybody's asking him questions. What's the meaning of life? What's this? What's that? What's life after death? What's this? And he answers all the questions, pretty confidently. And I don't know how much of it's true. But he goes, "Can I ask you guys a question?" And they're like, "Yeah." He goes, someone was talking about crazy, and he goes, "Has anybody done anything on your planet significant that wasn't called crazy doing it?" And then a hush runs over the crowd, right? And he goes, "Join the crazy side."
Yeah.
And I was just like, that was brilliant. That was brilliant.
It reminds me of the if you don't want to be criticized in life, just go do nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that's it's just par for the course, man.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But then you
Agreed.
could contribute your whole goddamn life like Nikola Tesla and end up penniless, and they could rape all your fucking projects when you die. So I don't know.
They could do that too.
So the
Nikola
mob,
Tesla's
the
children.
thankless mob that you gave Wi-Fi to and all this other great shit, that just fucking this is make sure you die
Wi-Fi.
penniless
What
and
about
fucking
0 point energy? I mean, this guy was brilliant. I mean,
fucking
brilliant.
brilliant. Yes.
Didn't he give us a Faraday cage? You can sit in a lightning storm and it doesn't even affect you.
Oh, I don't know. What about the Tesla coil?
Tesla coil, right? It's
I
insane.
think the biggest thing I probably took from him that I've kind of reflected on in the past few years is the you can think of the universe in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the governing laws of every fucking thing, really.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Oh, I
kind of
agree.
the biggest one I took from him, at least lately.
Oh, he's got if you study Tesla, he was brilliant. And I
Time
think
after
he's one of the.
time.
I think he
Remember he about broke the fucking ground?
mm-hmm.
He almost caused an earthquake.
Yeah, in Colorado. I think
Yeah.
his office is in Colorado Springs.
Yeah. I was gonna say Denver, but it was out there somewhere. Yeah.
Somewhere in Colorado.
Yeah, you might be right with the Colorado Springs.
Broke the earth. Yeah, the guy was beyond a genius,
Beyond, well beyond, so far beyond. Like,
right, that
but what?
now we are
But look
now
at.
he if he were to come out now, he would be better than Elon Musk.
He make Elon look like an elementary kid. He's like, go back to your blocks, Elon. I got this.
Because he would have he was born before the ability. We had the mechanical ability to make what he said come true.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time for sure.
Way ahead of its time. Agreed.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
That's what
all
you
those.
get
I feel
called.
bad. Could you
You get
imagine?
called
Could you
crazy
imagine
for
having
doing so.
anybody significant, anything significant? People were
So
calling them crazy doing
stupid.
it.
It's because people don't have the vision. They think that they could just shout you down. Like, fuck them. A
Yeah.
good message
Well.
for everybody out there. If you got the vision, you lead. You don't listen to nobody. You get a clear picture in your mind of what things could be. You fucking go. You don't listen to any motherfucking body. You don't listen to your woman, your boyfriend, your parents, your kid, nobody. Just drive that shit as far as you can.
Is as an entrepreneur, the number one thing to talk about is mindset.
Well, it's the mastery thing, the picture I sent you. Remember it?
Which one?
There are two mistakes along the path of mastery. And this goes for anything. Not starting and not going all the way. That's it.
You know why I'm a 50-degree black belt?
Because you went all the way.
I haven't quit yet. And my grandmaster said, I go, when are you going to quit? And he goes, I don't know. You'll know when to quit. And I was like, what do you mean you'll know when to quit? And I said, all these black belts quit. And I was like, they knew when to quit. And I go, I'm just not ready yet. I'm just not ready to quit. I love teaching.
That's the same thing with all these athletes, right? They can't hang it up.
Well, I'm getting ready to go to here's an idiot move. I'm going to the U.S. Open, and I'm well past my time. But I think I'm going to go compete again. Go waste some bricks and boards for no reason.
No, there's a reason, or you wouldn't do it.
What's the reason? I don't
You
got nothing to
tell
prove.
me. I don't know.
Why are you asking me? I don't know what I'm talking about. No.
Why am I asking you what you want? Why you want to do what you want? I don't know.
Why does anybody want to do anything they do?
Passion.
There you go. I'm passionate about it. Don't think I'm going to win. And I've been working out every day. I guess when I work out, when I go to the open, typically I look good when I go there because
Do
you
you
got to lose
have
weight.
a like a hand pad? I was watching this guy, Jesse Emko or something. He's a martial arts guy on YouTube. He goes all these places, and I've seen it time and time again now. Where you get this, they have like a little stand, and it has like this little pad on it. It's hard. It's like a brick though, basically, and they just pow, 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 and they just go at it.
It's called a Macawara board. Yeah.
You have one of those?
Do.
You use
in
it?
my school, and no, I'm a little bit past that. I use walls. I punch walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, Macawara board's
He was.
generally wrapped with rope or got a little padding on it. So when you punch it, it has a little bit of play.
Yeah.
That's for most martial artists. I go punch a wall. My
Yeah,
instructor.
maybe I'll send you this video. It was super cool, but he posted out that little pillow looking thing, and then dude hit it. It was like, this is hard as fuck. What the fuck? And then he had one sitting next to it. We had a stone, and then he was over there, pow, pow, pow. And then he had another one next to it that was just a metal bar. Pow, 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 pow. I'm like, oh my God.
You know what that's called?
Pain?
Hard body training.
Pain?
No, there's a lot of it in there. Oh yeah, there's a lot of that wrapped up.
Micro fractures, trying to build it up.
If you were to do it in any one of maybe not the pad,
no.
the bricks or the thing, you do it for 10 times. You wait the next day, you're gonna have black and blue all over your arms. If I do it, nothing.
It's conditioning.
The body got used to it, and it doesn't bruise
Conditioning.
anymore.
It's amazing what the body can do, isn't it?
Oh, dude, the body is a triple spin kick, a hurricane kick, a tornado kick, a 360 kick. Someone's got their left foot forward, and they jump and spin with their left foot and hit something that's 5 feet in front of them.
That's not what I think about when I think about the amazing parts, though.
Do you ever see guys breaking boards, jumping up in the air 20 feet, breaking boards? I mean, it's
I don't know about
how they can maneuver a weapon.
That's amazing what I think about either.
What do you think about? What do you think about other?
I think about you lose your vision, so your hearing gets an upgrade.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're yep.
Yeah.
What about
fighting disease? But it's like,
what about fighting diseases?
Yeah. I give you a fun
without
one.
even thinking about it. What about the other topic stuff you don't even think about?
So there's a researcher guy who was talking. It was a smart conversation. Smart dudes talking, but is a historical studier of humans, right? Anthropology, maybe, I don't know. But his suggestion was that in the past 300,000 years, there's no evidence to suggest that we've gotten any smarter. So our adaptive.
Well, I could dispute that in like seconds.
You could if you were as smart as this guy.
Seconds.
I don't actually think there's a reason to believe that you're smarter than a caveman, actually.
All the information that's dumped in my head because of school. They didn't have schools back then.
Okay, well, I'm going to drop you in the forest, and I'm going to drop the caveman in the forest, and we'll see who lives longer.
All right, let's drop the caveman in a city. No. And then have me in a city that's empty. No.
Because you're BFE. I'm going to drop both of you off.
You're putting me in his. I'm putting you in
the world. The only world. Culture. I'm putting you in the world.
You're putting me in his world. Put him in my world.
No. There's only one world.
I know how to open a can. There'd be a bunch of cans. You'd be staring at it.
No, you get a rock or something.
Yeah, I can open a can and fucking eat the can. Eat through the can. Yeah, no.
Oh my God, you're one of those people.
Yeah, I am. I'm crazy insane.
You think you're smarter than a caveman?
Yes, I think I'm smarter than a caveman.
Wow.
What did the caveman learn? Where did he learn it?
How do you think the Indians knew about plants?
They were taught that by plants by
Like
whoever's older
caveman,
than
if you go far enough back.
the elder caveman.
Dude, what? Surviving, shelter, finding food, foraging for food, dealing with the disease, dealing with catastrophes, dealing with natural disasters, still surviving through all of it. People really,
Not even able to use a hammer, a hacksaw,
people
or
have no idea
how to make a machete.
how smart you have to be just to survive in the world. I guess that's kind of my point.
In what world? Their world or our world?
In the
Caveman
only
world?
world, the planet Earth that we live on. You're talking about this modern built up bullshit that we call the modern world. This didn't exist forever in the world until recently. So maybe you are
1,000 years ago.
severely disadvantaged because you're used to the city then.
Kind of in the country right now, but no, the lowest intelligent person out now is smarter than the caveman back then.
I don't know if
How
this is
would you
true.
define intelligence then?
I don't know if this is true. Look at the
How would you
fucking
define
pyramids,
intelligence?
dude.
Dude, you think that was here? This is
I don't know,
crazy.
but I'm saying it wasn't made by a modern person.
Do you think our ancestors made the pyramids? Did you know about the
I don't
spirals
know.
underneath the pyramids?
Yeah,
right
you
now
seen that? The underground stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. So cool.
Right? You think that was made back then?
It wasn't made by us.
Okay, so we can agree on that. Here's the crazy part. Everybody in the world believes the pyramids, and now they found the spirals underneath, that we humans didn't make it, right?
Maybe.
Right? No, most people say that we couldn't have done it back then. There's no
Maybe.
architecturally, geologically, we didn't have the ability to do it.
I
right?
tell you what, the older stuff gets, the far more advanced it is.
Well, let me get back to my point.
Wait a minute, that shit.
Do you know there's pyramids in Mexico?
Yes, and all through the Amazon and everything else.
Right. Did anybody debate who made those?
Well, they're not to the. This is a whole nother animal.
Right.
Mexico City, I think, has the biggest one. Teotihuacan or whatever the fuck it's called.
No, I saw the one in Mexico. What is it?
But that big one in Mexico City, they had a thing and they built on top of it and built on top of it and built on top of it over like generations, apparently. Because you could see the stonework change is the crazy part. Like a lot of these structures, dude, the foundations are like perfect and precision, and then bullshit gets put on top of it because the people who started it were geniuses, and then we fuck it up as we go because we're trying to imitate it. Which is probably what the pyramid is, right? Like that was a fucking solid fucking concept, that pyramid. And then everybody around the world tried to copy it, right? And they just fucked it all up.
But
you know the weirdest part? Today. You know the weirdest part, think about all this, is you don't make that kind of pyramid without a blueprint. Mm-hmm. You don't make that kind of pyramid when you're still in the testing phase. Mm-hmm. You make that kind of pyramid when you know this shit works. Mm-hmm. That's fucking crazy, dude. Mm-hmm. That's fucking crazy, dude. Mm-hmm. That means, I'm telling you, the farther we go back, the more advanced we were. And so
I don't know about that. We don't have any. There's no evidence to your claim.
This guy studies human brains and human culture. Dude, I'm telling you. But anyway,
are you trying to say
that
the scientists have never been wrong?
Just like the weatherman. But this, so for the past 300,000 years, he says it doesn't show that we've accelerated our mental capacities at all. The only thing that it really shows that we've tailored for in the past 300,000 years is like fighting respiratory diseases and things.
I don't.
So let me.
That is the most.
How would
you
even find that out, then, smart guy?
That was the most asinine statement I've ever heard in my life.
Well, if you were smart enough, you'd make sense of it.
No, I was dumb enough I'd make sense of it.
Oh, here, I'll send you the podcast later, and you can check it out.
Oh God, I don't want. I've had enough of stupidity.
You don't want to hear about
Smart
people.
people that think they're smart are sometimes very stupid.
Dude. Such a quick dismissal. Look at you in your bubble. Look at you.
Dude, you're trying to say that a 6-year-old is not smarter than a caveman.
6-year-old is a genius, by the way, if you didn't know.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh,
They,
yeah, try again,
so
guy.
tell them
Try.
that study.
Oh, well, I don't know what the study is, but they say that virtually all children are genius level
So,
until we get to them and fuck them up.
so the school district. So they had a study and they wanted to
No, school
find.
district, parents, structure of the world they live in. Kids just want to be safe, so they adhere to a lot of behaviors and things. They take things out of their mind, like creativity wise. I think they say that they're all like genius level.
So So this is a very cool study. They wanted to find out. They wanted to find out the origins of geniuses, right? So they studied thousands of kids, and they
Birth.
found out that 6-year-olds, first graders, 90% of them were considered geniuses.
That's right.
By the time at 6-year-old first grade, by the time they got to sixth grade, 50% were geniuses. By the time they got to high school, 10% were geniuses
Well,
of the same kids.
scientists have never been wrong.
Well, they are wrong all the time, but their definition of a genius, somebody is problem solving, right? That's probably the
Creativity.
best definition
Yeah,
of a genius.
creativity, I think, is the.
Well, problem solving, if you
It's the
got a
same
problem, you
thing,
can
but
solve
yeah.
it. Yeah, well, you got to be creative to solve problems, but you could be creative and not solve any problems,
True.
right?
True.
So if you, let's say problem solving,
Like
you have to have a lot,
targeted
you have to have a
creativity.
lot to solve problems fast, right? You have to have a lot to solve problems fast. You got to be creative. You got to be smart. You got to be, so that's a good definition. I think it's the best definition. I could be wrong on that. I'm 100% okay with being wrong to that. But if you can solve problems, that is a huge sign of intelligence. And back then, the kids could, 6-year-olds solve a problem because they don't understand the boxes that we put in their heads as time goes on.
Well,
You got to solve. You give them a problem, and you got to solve it this way. Math, science, home ec,
yeah,
anything is a problem. You got to solve this way.
boxes is a good way to do it because you kind of box yourself in. That's why I say, like, when we come to the planet, we are perfect. We came with everything that we'll ever fucking need, and
Perfect, full, and complete.
Yeah, when we get here, we just came from God. We come here perfect, and we just get fucked up along the way.
Well, so this is we came to this world. You're 100% right. We came from God. We came to this world. And this world is dangerous.
Yeah.
So parents, you and me both, installed fear into our kids. You know better than anybody, kids are born without fear.
Yeah. They get Clapton's kid.
Right. You're going to run in the street. Don't run in the street. The car will run you over. And then they see a car come by, or they see a kid get hit. And they're like, oh, they're learned fear. You're going to learn fear. And we have to install it to them because this is a dangerous world.
They can't
We
be
don't want to
naive
do
forever.
it. They can't. Yes, that's true. But we teach them that to keep them from harm. And the more we teach them, the less the less genius they become.
So is then genius a love factor?
Well, if you believe you come from God and you were born perfect and you're born, 90% of people are geniuses in first grade.
Well, I say
That's
that.
a good point.
I
That's
say that
a
because
weird point.
I've heard people file it down before, maybe even Peterson, I don't know. They said they say that people do things for one of two reasons, out of love or out of fear. It's
Right now, I can't.
sticky.
Right,
It's pretty sticky.
it's sticky. I'll give you that. I can't either confirm or deny that particular fact. But
Is
those are two
everything?
great motivating factors.
Yeah, yeah. It might be the two. I don't know.
If you can break it all down, you might be 100% right. Like if obedience could be fear. Passion could be love. You know, so you could,
jealousy, insecurity. That's all fear.
jealousy, insecurity could be fear,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know if everything he would breaking down to fear or love.
Everything you do with your kids, whether you're too hard on them, you could do that out of love and not wanting to see them get hurt, or you could do it out of fear that they might get hurt. I mean, he can kind of chop it up a lot of ways.
Well, I mean, like I said, they might be able to break that up into everything.
Yeah, it might be a
Two
universal thing.
motivating factors.
Yeah.
And I like to do things out of love. I
That's
love
the
helping
idea.
people.
Well, this is the same thing like abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, right? I think maybe we're just talking about the same thing in different terms anymore.
Love and fear. That's a good that's a debate in itself. I mean,
Yeah.
what could you break it down to? And the answer could be everything.
I don't know that you can break it down any further. That seems to be base level.
Well, I mean, you said, why do people do things? Why does anything?
Passion would be love.
Mm-hmm.
For
Why
the
do you get
love of the
married?
game or
The
whatever.
love it. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
That's right.
That was my favorite line from Bad Boys, man. Will Smith, comes out and he goes, "Why you gotta look so good?" And he goes, "Man, don't hate the player, hate the game."
Yeah. That's funny.
That is. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
But past 300,000 years, we haven't gotten no smarter. We have only been.
Dude,
We have only
in
been.
1,000 years, we've built mega malls, we've built
What? What have
cars,
we
we've
done?
built airplanes, buddy.
Temple,
100 years.
buddy.
Hey, listen, 150 years ago, nobody had hot water.
Well, apparently, like 5,000 years ago, they had a pyramid. So
What can that pyramid do?
I have no idea, but I want to know.
It doesn't do anything. It's just there.
Well, I could give you some theories, but I don't know. Would you like
Well,
some
you can't prove
theories?
the theories. It's a theory. Whatever you're going to say, it doesn't work.
A lot of people think it's a damn electric generator.
Cool. Can they make it work?
Well,
No, they can't.
the Nile River doesn't butt up to it as it once did.
Still can't make it work. So I
The
was just
the
inside.
fucking
I was just
Sahara
inside
used
a
to be
dome.
the Sahara used to be a rainforest too. So what?
I was just inside a dome that they spent $2.6 billion on, and this thing had me feeling like I was immersed in everything that it was. The pyramid can't do anything, and this is only in the last 3 years that this thing was built.
And we
I would
can't
say that we
do.
have way more technology and way more smarter people to build the technology. Elon Musk, Nikola Tesla, Einstein were built in the last 150 years.
And we still can't build a pyramid.
No, we could build a pyramid.
Not like
Oh, we
that.
could build a pyramid.
Not
Yeah, we
like
could.
that.
I could build. I could build a pyramid easily.
There's suggestions to say. So this is a power generator. This pyramid, and they
But they
think,
can't prove it.
sir, okay. What'd you say earlier about leaders going out there with crazy visions that everybody called them crazy for?
I said
They couldn't
that
prove it.
no great thing has been done by people that were that weren't called crazy doing it.
So if they were stuck on couldn't prove it, they never would have did it.
No, they just did it. No.
But they couldn't prove it before they did it. They couldn't sell it to an investor because there was no proof.
There's always proof of concept in the design.
What? There's no only proof of concept in product.
Well, so I was just talking to a guy today about building an apartment complex, and he had this really unique concept, and I'd like to look a little bit more into it. But it was just basically 4 walls in a roof, right? And you could put windows and doors around the whole thing. And he just started putting together like puzzles and could make a building in days. And he could build each section in a day. So if he had 3 molds, he could build 3 sections a day. If he had 30 molds, he could build 30 sections in a day. So let's say in a 2-bedroom, there was 3 blocks. The bedroom, the living room, and the kitchen, right? So he could build 3 in a day. So he could build an apartment a day.
Uh-huh.
So if he had 30, he could build 30 apartments in a day.
Uh-huh.
right? So that's engineering that they didn't have back in caveman days.
Yeah, they did. They
And a
called it a
crane to
cave.
build it.
Sounds worse than a cave, though. You have far less space. Well, I will say this, that people suggest and ask these days if cities are just breeding grounds for psychopaths. And I think whatever the fuck you're trying to build would accelerate this 100-fold. Because people ain't meant to live like fucking ants. We're not a fucking colony living animal.
People in New York love it. People in
Yeah, because
Chicago
we're
and
fucking
California love
crazy.
it.
Have you seen the links lately? I'm telling you, people are really wondering, and I think it's kind of true that cities are breeding grounds for psychopaths.
I can't disprove that. But what I'm saying is, because you have a mass amount of people, there's going to be more psychopaths in the city.
That's not even what I mean. That's not even what I mean. Like,
Statistically,
there's a comedian lady that told her story about some stuff lately where she was like, yeah, when I was growing up, I was like 11 or whatever the fuck, and there was this nice Jewish couple next door, and then their son moved in, and he was fucking creepy. And then, like, a year later, his parents died. And then every time I left my apartment, he was just waiting for my door to open. Because every time I opened it, I had to walk past his door to get to the elevator. So then he started saying some deranged shit to her, like, "Oh, I'm thinking about shaving my head. Would you like that?" And weird shit. And it's like, this is kind of what it does. It isolates people to the core. And then I mean, there's a reason they do that in jail on purpose, you know?
yeah, it's punishment.
Oh, so cities are
Humans
punishment.
are humans are
Living
humans
in this
are.
cubicle that you're about to make for people is punishment.
No, I'm building a house. They can live in it. They can live in it and bring
Oh,
people in it. They can bring people
oh.
in and have a social experience.
Is that what people do post COVID? Because I don't see a lot of
Dude, COVID was a failed
that.
experiment.
Well, experiment they did.
Hmm.
There's people having all kinds of health issues now because of this jab.
Yeah, well, I didn't take the. Did you
Myocarditis
take?
and all that other
Did
stuff.
you take the jab?
Absolutely not.
Mm. I didn't need to, and I tried to explain it to my daughter. I'm like, I don't need to. She goes, why? He goes, I already had it. I was one of the first ones to have it. And then she goes, no, but the mitochondria is blah 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 blah. I'm like, I
Yeah,
go,
the
Lex, the
scientists.
one
Yeah.
the I go, listen, I'm gonna tell you straight up, honey, I love you, but I've had stuff before. I've had the Beijing flu, I had all this stuff. And then once you get it, your body learns how to fight it. And if it does come back again, which it did, I did get it about a year later, and it was nothing like I had it the first time. Absolutely nothing. It was like the other one was 7 days, and I couldn't like for 30 days I couldn't like move. I was like, oh, I can't move. And I tried to go to work, and I just go to work and just talk to people and go home. And it was well after the infection time, but it just dragged me out. And people were terrified of that. And and it was it deadly? Yeah, I lost two aunts and a good friend of mine from COVID.
Yeah.
My
Well,
friend of mine was my age. That was kind of weird. My aunt was 91 years old. She was the oldest Menino, and I was like, I get it. I get it. But it was, I don't know we needed to do what we did to combat the disease. Our social structure, to this day, do you disagree? Do you believe that our social structure is damaged to this day, 5 years later?
that's a new normal now.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. It's a new normal. That's not good.
No, no, none of this is good.
And they're trying to give the jab to kids, and they found out that there was
Oh,
zero benefit of a kid, almost statistically a zero benefit to kids having the jab.
just
At first, they're like,
fucking.
oh, kids can't have it, kids can't have it. Then they're like, because they made too many of them, they're like, oh, kids got to have it. Because somebody got fucking paid to give people shots, and they wanted everybody to get the shots. So whoever profited from that should fucking die.
You know what's crazy? I had this number. I have it somewhere in my notes, but I think the Sackler family. You know the opioid everything.
Mm-mm.
You don't know about the opioid crisis?
I don't know about the opioid crisis, but what did the
Yeah,
Sackler
that
family have to do
that
with the opioid
Sackler
crisis?
family was basically the production behind it.
Really?
Yes, and they went to
I thought we were
court
talking
over
about
it.
I thought we were talking about Mexico.
No, talking about like class action lawsuits and stuff. But they ended up having to.
Prescription opioids.
Yep. The
Oh,
farm pill mills and the farm pill farms and everything.
pill mills. I haven't heard that one before.
No, I could tell you a lot,
It's a good one.
especially from this area. I could tell you a lot. But
Yeah, Florida's tough on that.
well, this spot, you don't recall, this spot was in '08 when I moved here. Around that time, this spot was in competition with San Francisco for the highest number of foreclosures in the country
Mm-hmm.
because of the pills. Basically, everybody's all fucked up on
Oh,
the
it's because of
pills.
'08, dude.
Well, everybody was fucked up on the pills. Maybe it was a economic thing that got passed down, whatever. But yeah, that was basically it. But the Sackler family,
Zombieland.
the Sackler family got punished for all of the shit that they caused, all the people that they killed and everything else. And I think they made them pay like $6 billion, something like that.
They probably just wrote a check.
Yeah, and then they just walk away. But the
$6
big
billion
thing,
here.
and I hope these numbers are right. I don't know if it's M's or B's or whatever the hell. But so the Sackler family had to pay $6 billion for what they did. And remember the whole Alex Jones Sandy Hook thing?
Remind me about Sandy Hook.
He kind of said it was fucking fake, all the Sandy Hook stuff. I don't know. He went on some wild report that he shouldn't have never did, but they really got mad at him for saying that it was fake, and I don't know the extent of it, but they got really pissed at him, and they tried to sink him. And even in the past year, I think the verdict finally came down to where I think they wanted him to pay $2 billion.
Oof. Oof.
So
Those are steep numbers, buddy.
yeah, I think it's all B's. I think it's all B's here. I think it's $2 billion to $6 billion. So the people that murdered hundreds of thousands of people probably had to pay $6 billion. And some guy who said some words that people didn't like had to pay $2 billion.
Mm.
Yes, this is the world we live in.
Isn't who's the
That's
not speak
fucking
to that one?
crazy. That's so crazy to me.
What about that girl that's suing the View for almost $1 billion, like 900 million?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Who's the press secretary? Kate.
I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
She went on the View, and then they started talking smack about her after she left, and then she sued him. She's suing him for like 900 million, almost $1 billion.
Good. Fuck them. You want to play this passive aggressive bullshit? Well, fuck you, man. If they're
Well, you
going
can't sue
after
anybody. You
fucking
can't sue
Alex
anybody for
Jones for
passive
saying some
aggressive.
shit that they didn't like for $2 billion, I mean,
You can't sue anybody for passive aggressive. You can only sue people for slander, something that's
isn't
not true,
defamation
a
passive
lie.
aggressive though? Defamation isn't I'm coming to punch you in the mouth. Defamation is like
Defamation is saying that you're a pimp and you got a bunch of hoes, which you
right.
don't have, and it defames your character. Now, if you were a pimp and you had a bunch of hoes,
It's
and I
still
called you a
defamating
pimp,
you.
that's not defamation of character.
Why? It's still defamating you.
Huh? Because it's true.
So it's still defamating you.
It's true.
It could be
The
true
part
and
about
also
defamation of
still be
character, I think it's got to
defamating
be
you.
false. Got to
That's a
be
weird
false.
one. That's a weird one.
Nah, I like it because I like it. Basically, that's the only thing you can sue somebody for a lie about your character, basically.
So we should start suing politicians?
Oh, dude, if Elon Musk is not if they're not voting on fixing we got to get rid of the politicians. We got to just
We gotta do
mask
that
it.
anyway.
If they don't vote on that, we got
I
to get
told
rid
you
of
the
them.
right is dead.
No, the right is corrupt as the left. That's the problem.
The right is dead. There is no right.
The right is
That's the
corrupt as the
problem.
left.
That's the problem. There is no right. The right doesn't fucking exist. The people that are in charge right now are the fucking Democrats. The only fucking options that we have right now is the far left and the fucking Democrats. There is no right.
Nah, there's a right side.
Where? Who?
You got President Trump out there putting tariffs in out,
Democrat.
putting
Democrat his
Everything
whole
just said
goddamn
that.
life. Friend of the Clintons and everything. Friend of every rap star ever. Democrat.
He's a Republican now.
Oh, well, he just switched teams. He just switched all of a sudden, did he? His whole
So-
life, he was one thing until the last 5 minutes, and they're supposed to just be like, oh, yeah.
Far left, far right, right? And there's a middle part.
One of those
right?
doesn't exist.
Most of the right people were like a moderate right. And what happened is the bar fucking went so far on the right side that they ended up being on the left side. They went so far to the right side, the left side, that they ended up being on the right side.
Yes.
That's what happened.
So
if
everything
you
gone left.
think about
Everything
Donald
gone
Trump,
left.
you think about Donald Trump was a moderate Democrat back in the 80s. And then you think about Joe Rogan, Elon Musk. All those guys were Republicans 5 years ago. Democrats 5 years ago.
They're still
But
Democrats.
the fucking poll shifted so far over.
They're still Democrats, though. That's my point.
No, they're they identify as Republicans.
You can identify whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. I know what the fuck you are.
Yeah, but
I know Rogan's a lefty.
So far left.
Rogan commonly calls himself a lefty still because he's honest about it. Elon is a fucking lefty, dude. He's all about social programs and helping people and all this other shit.
He's a Republican. He admitted that he's a Republican.
What? Bullshit.
Elon Musk admitted. He goes, I was a Democrat. I was a Democrat.
Oh, he still is then at heart.
Oh, Jesus.
They changed their parties. They didn't change their heart. They changed their parties.
Well, because the left went out of the fucking range.
Well, everything. The thing is, everything, like you said, everything went to the left. The left went to the left. The center went to the left.
So far to the left.
The right went to the left.
The batshit crazy just kept going. And there's a batshit crazy right too. You know what I mean?
There is. Everybody's calling it out now with this woke right shit. You seen all that?
Woke right shit. Good. I don't want the left and right to be that far apart. I want it to be more us instead of each other.
Well, that's the funny part, right? Is 90% of people are in the middle, but the fucking polar opposites on the extremes on both ends won't allow it to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You need to hate.
We got to change all that.
Hate the other side, or else.
Right.
Polarizing bullshit. Polarizing bullshit. If it bleeds, it leads. That's how you sell tickets to the show, guy. Not to mention all of the paid protesting that happens now.
Paid protesting. That just blows my mind.
Fucking career for people.
Blows my mind. They went to like Cambridge, and they interviewed a couple students, and they said, "Hey, have you ever, do you know what did you ever say from the ocean from the Jordan to the sea?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're like, yeah, we did that.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what that is? That's Israel. So you were chanting, "Kill all the Jews from the Jordan to the sea."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, I didn't know I was doing that." And he goes, "You know that?" And there's just this is the funny. You ever hear of the gays for Palestine?
Yeah. You know the joke about that though.
What?
I think I've told you this on here before, but I'll tell you again. Even Ben Shapiro thought it was pretty funny. But he said, well, they're throwing the gays from the rooftops. Well, at least they're running out of rooftops.
They're running gays from the rooftop. At least they're running out of rooftops.
Yeah.
That is just crazy. I don't understand people killing each other for their faith or their religion or anything.
I could show you some stuff on X, dude. I could. Oh, boy.
Why? What is it?
Just like certain photos that are on my page of like just comparisons. like Queers for Palestine, and then they show you what they do over there to the queers, and it's like, yeah, wake up, wake up.
I don't know if I should check your ex because then I'm gonna get banned. You know how many stuff you sent me that by the time I opened it, it's like this is no longer here.
I have no idea.
A lot.
Well, you better get it when I send it to you then.
Yeah, no shit.
That's funny. All right, well, anything else you want to leave off on?
Till we meet again. Hopefully John will be on next time. Did you enjoy John?
Yeah, John was fun. I want to
Yeah.
see his dude, I could throw him some fucking curveballs and see how he reacts.
Good luck. Good luck. Like in Taken, good luck.
I don't want
I'm coming for you. Good
I don't want
luck.
to explode his brain or nothing.
He's got a big one. He's going for his doctorate now.
Better than being impotent.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt. That fucking hurt. Important.
Important.
All right, G-Money. We'll let all the good people go, and until next time.
Yes, sir. We're gonna save the world. Let's go.